In today's video, we're revealing the most valuable state quarter coins you should never ignore, because your next life-changing discovery could already be hiding in your spare change. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an ordinary-looking 2003 Illinois state quarter, and spending it on a cup of coffee, only to discover later that the very same coin could have been worth as much as $966,000 under the right circumstances. It sounds unbelievable, but stories like this are exactly why serious coin collectors inspect every coin before they spend it. Every day, millions of Americans unknowingly pass rare coins from one hand to another without ever realizing what they had. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck, it's knowledge. One person sees 25 cents. The other sees the possibility of life-changing value. Before you spend another quarter, you may want to listen carefully because today's coin has surprised collectors more than once. The 2003 Illinois state quarter was released as part of the famous 50 state quarters program, one of the most successful coin series ever produced by the United States Mint. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, making them appear common at first glance. The reverse design celebrates Illinois with Abraham Lincoln standing proudly, a farm scene, the Chicago skyline, and the state outline. Most examples are worth exactly 25 cents. However, hidden among the ordinary pieces are extremely rare mint errors and exceptional high-grade examples that have captured the attention of collectors across America. Those are the coins that can transform a simple quarter into a 5, 6, or even potentially headline-grabbing collectible. Here's something that most people never consider. Just because millions were minted doesn't mean millions survived in perfect condition. In fact, the overwhelming majority immediately entered circulation where they suffered scratches, dents, wear, and countless trips through cash registers, vending machines, and parking meters. Every small mark reduced their condition. As the years passed, truly flawless examples became increasingly difficult to locate. That is exactly why condition plays such a massive role in determining value. Now here's a question for you. Do you have a coin jar sitting somewhere in your home? Maybe it's in the kitchen, on a dresser, or hidden inside a closet. If you do, pause for a moment after this video and take a careful look. That forgotten collection of pocket change could contain coins that collectors are actively searching for today. Sometimes treasure isn't buried underground. Sometimes it's hiding inside an old coffee can. Let's dive into what makes certain 2003 Illinois quarters so extraordinary. The first category collectors pursue involves dramatic strike errors. During the minting process, thousands of planchets move through high-speed presses every hour. If even one tiny mechanical problem occurs, unusual coins can be created. One of the most desirable is the off-center strike. Instead of the design appearing perfectly centered, part of the image is missing because the blank planchet was not positioned correctly when struck. The more dramatic the off-center appearance, while still showing the date, the more desirable the coin often becomes. Another highly sought-after variety is the double strike error. Imagine a quarter receiving its first strike and then shifting before being struck again. The result is a fascinating overlapping design that immediately catches the eye. Genuine double strikes are extremely scarce and highly collectible because they reveal an actual mistake made during the minting process rather than damage caused after the coin left the mint. Collectors also search relentlessly for broad strike errors. These occur when the retaining collar fails to hold the planchet in place during striking. Without the collar, the metal expands outward, producing a coin that appears wider than normal with missing or distorted edges. Broad strike quarters often look unusual even to someone with no collecting experience, making them among the easiest major errors to recognize. Then there are clipped planchet errors. Before a coin is struck, large sheets of metal are punched into circular blanks. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps a previous cut, leaving a curved section missing from the blank. When that incomplete blank is struck, the missing portion becomes a permanent feature of the finished coin. Authentic clipped planchet errors have become favorites among collectors because every example is unique. Perhaps the most exciting discovery involves a dramatic die crack or retained cud. Dies endure incredible pressure throughout production. Over time, microscopic fractures can develop. As those fractures grow, raised lines begin appearing on the finished coins. In rare situations, a portion of the die actually breaks away, creating a bold raised lump known as a cud. Major die breaks are significantly more desirable than tiny hairline cracks because they are visually dramatic and much scarcer. Another fascinating possibility is a die clash. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike one another without a planchet between them. The collision leaves faint impressions from one die transferred onto the opposite die. Subsequent coins may display mysterious extra design elements where they don't belong. To experienced collectors, these unexpected lines and shapes can be exciting evidence of an authentic mint mistake. Here's another attention check. Have you ever ignored a strange-looking coin because you assumed it was damaged? Many people have. Unfortunately, some genuine mint errors are mistakenly spent simply because their owners didn't realize they were valuable. That unusual quarter sitting in your drawer might deserve a second look. Now let's talk about mint marks. The 2003 Illinois quarter was produced primarily at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, while proof versions were struck in San Francisco. Each facility produced coins with slightly different characteristics. Although ordinary examples from every mint are common, certain error combinations tied to specific mint facilities can become highly desirable, especially when they appear in outstanding condition. Professional grading is another critical piece of the puzzle. In modern coin collecting, a single grading point can mean the difference between a modest collectible and an elite rarity. Coins certified in exceptionally high mint state grades by respected grading services attract intense competition whenever they appear at major auctions. That competition has driven remarkable prices for modern coins with extraordinary eye appeal, exceptional preservation, or spectacular mint errors. Now let's address the number everyone has been waiting for. Could a 2003 Illinois quarter really be worth as much as $966,000? It's important to understand what that figure represents. Values at the very highest end of the market depend on an extraordinary combination of factors. The coin would likely need an exceptional and highly dramatic mint error, outstanding preservation, elite certification, extraordinary collector demand, and the right auction environment where determined bidders compete aggressively. Those conditions are incredibly rare, but history has repeatedly shown that unique coins can produce astonishing auction results when every factor aligns perfectly. Even quarters valued far below that headline figure can still command thousands or tens of thousands of dollars if they possess legitimate mint errors combined with exceptional quality. That is why collectors never dismiss unusual coins without careful examination. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary quarter and a remarkable collectible is hidden in a tiny detail visible only under magnification. The coin market has changed dramatically over the past decade. More collectors are entering the hobby, online auctions have expanded access to buyers around the world, and social media has introduced millions of people to the excitement of searching pocket change. As demand increases while truly rare examples remain limited, competition naturally becomes stronger. That's one reason why collectors continue searching rolls from banks, inherited collections, estate sales, and everyday circulation. Here's something worth remembering. Rare coins don't announce themselves. They don't sparkle brighter than every other coin. They don't arrive with warning labels saying, "I'm valuable." They quietly blend into ordinary pocket change until someone knowledgeable notices the tiny characteristics that everyone else overlooked. That's exactly why education becomes one of the most valuable tools any collector can possess. Think about how many quarters pass through your hands every year. Hundreds? Maybe thousands? Most people never examine even one of them. They spend first and ask questions later. But collectors understand something different. Every coin represents an opportunity. Most will be ordinary, but it only takes one extraordinary discovery to create an unforgettable story. Before you spend another 2003 Illinois quarter, examine both sides carefully under bright lighting. Look for doubling that appears raised rather than scratched. Inspect the edges for unusual shapes. Check for off-center strikes, broad strike characteristics, clipped planchets, dramatic die cracks, or other unusual features that stand apart from normal circulation damage. If something genuinely appears different, resist the temptation to clean the coin. Cleaning almost always reduces collector value. Instead, protect it carefully and consider having it evaluated by a reputable professional grading service. Imagine the excitement of discovering that a quarter sitting unnoticed in your change for years was actually a genuine mint error sought after by collectors nationwide. Moments like that continue fueling the passion of numismatics. They remind us that history, craftsmanship, and opportunity sometimes arrive in the smallest possible package. The next time someone tells you that all quarters are worth only 25 cents, you'll know better. Most are. But a tiny number have become extraordinary collectibles because of remarkable minting mistakes, exceptional preservation, and intense collector demand. Those are the coins that transform ordinary change into unforgettable discoveries and inspire collectors to keep searching year after year. So before this day ends, check your wallet. Check your coin jar. Check that forgotten drawer filled with loose change. You never know which ordinary-looking quarter could become the conversation piece of your entire collection. The treasure hunt begins with a single coin, and your next discovery could be much closer than you ever imagined. And don't stop with the Illinois quarter. In our next video, we're uncovering another ultra-rare American coin that many people have unknowingly spent, even though the right example has stunned collectors with astonishing values. You won't want to miss that incredible story, because the next life-changing coin could already be waiting in your pocket. What if I told you that a quarter you might have tossed into a vending machine this morning could be worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds unbelievable, but that's exactly why thousands of collectors search through ordinary pocket change every single day. Most people see a quarter as just 25 cents. A serious collector sees a potential hidden fortune. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck, it's knowledge. And today we're uncovering one of the most talked about modern quarters in American numismatics, the 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter. Before you spend another quarter without looking at it carefully, stay with me, because one tiny detail could make all the difference. The Harper's Ferry quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, honoring Harper's Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary modern quarter. The reverse features John Brown's Fort, one of the most historic buildings in American history, surrounded by beautifully engraved details. Millions of these coins entered circulation, causing most people to assume they're common and practically worthless. But collectors know something the average person doesn't. Hidden among the millions are a handful of extraordinary error coins that have become legendary in the collecting community. Modern minting technology is incredibly precise, but perfection is never guaranteed. Every once in a while, a rare mistake slips through quality control, creating a coin unlike any other. Those accidental mistakes are exactly what collectors chase. The rarer the error, the greater the demand. And when demand collides with scarcity, remarkable prices can follow. Now here's where things become fascinating. Some 2016 Harper's Ferry quarters have been reported with dramatic double die characteristics. Instead of crisp lettering and design elements, parts of the inscriptions appear doubled because the die itself carried duplicated details before striking the coin. Under magnification, collectors carefully inspect words like Liberty, In God We Trust, and Harper's Ferry. Genuine double die coins show clear separation rather than simple machine doubling. This is one of the first signs experts look for. But don't stop there. Go grab that jar of spare change sitting on your dresser or tucked away in a kitchen drawer. Seriously, pause for a second and think about it. How many quarters have been sitting there untouched for years? Most people never examine them. Could one of those forgotten coins be the hidden treasure everyone else overlooked? Another highly desirable error involves off-center strikes. During production, if the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned between the dies, the design can be struck dramatically off-center. Depending on how much of the design remains visible, these errors can command impressive premiums. Collectors especially value examples that still display the full date while showing significant misalignment. Then there are broad strike errors. Normally, a retaining collar keeps the metal confined while the coin is struck. If that collar fails, the metal spreads outward, creating a wider coin with no raised rim. These unusual pieces immediately stand out from normal quarters and are eagerly sought by specialists who collect dramatic mint errors. Even more exciting are double-struck examples. Imagine a coin receiving one strike, failing to eject properly, and then being struck a second time in a completely different position. The overlapping images create an unmistakable appearance that captures immediate attention. These spectacular mistakes are among the most visually dramatic modern mint errors and often become centerpieces of advanced collections. Now ask yourself one simple question. When was the last time you actually looked at a quarter instead of spending it automatically? That's exactly how valuable discoveries continue to happen. Extraordinary coins don't always appear in museum collections. Sometimes they hide inside grocery store change, forgotten coin rolls, inherited collections, or old piggy banks waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Collectors also hunt for die cracks, retained cuds, and die chips on the 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter. As minting dies wear down after striking thousands of coins, tiny fractures can develop. Those fractures sometimes leave raised lines across the finished coin. Larger breaks may create missing design elements known as cuds. While many die cracks are relatively minor, dramatic examples attract strong collector interest because every crack develops differently, making each coin unique. Another error that generates excitement is the clipped planchet. Before striking, blank metal discs are punched from long sheets of metal. Occasionally, the punch overlaps an already removed section, producing a curved, missing piece along the edge. If such a clipped blank reaches the striking presses, the finished coin displays a distinctive crescent-shaped section that's impossible to ignore. Some specialists also search for wrong planchet errors. Although extraordinarily rare, these occur when a quarter design is accidentally struck onto a blank intended for another denomination. The result is a coin with unusual weight, color, and dimensions. These dramatic mint mistakes are considered some of the rarest modern U.S. mint production errors and can generate tremendous excitement whenever authenticated. Here's something many people never realize. Not every unusual-looking coin is valuable. Scratches from circulation, damage caused by dryers, parking lots, or tools may create strange appearances, but collectors recognize these as post-mint damage. The real value comes from errors that occurred during the official minting process. That's why authentication is absolutely essential before assuming you've found a fortune. Condition plays an equally important role. Two identical error coins can sell for dramatically different amounts simply because one remained untouched while the other circulated for years. Professional grading services evaluate every detail, including luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. Coins receiving mint state grades of MS67, MS68, or higher become significantly more desirable, especially when paired with dramatic mint errors. Now imagine this scenario. You're counting change after buying a cup of coffee. One quarter catches your attention because the lettering looks unusual. Instead of ignoring it, you take a closer look. That single moment of curiosity could completely change your understanding of what everyday money can be worth. That's why experienced collectors never rush through pocket change. Every coin tells a story, and occasionally one tells an incredibly profitable story. The popularity of modern error coins has exploded over the past decade. Online auctions, collector forums, and grading registries have introduced millions of people to the thrill of searching circulation. As demand increases and the finest examples disappear into permanent collections, available supply becomes even smaller. Scarcity naturally drives stronger competition whenever exceptional pieces appear for sale. You may have heard astonishing stories claiming that certain modern quarters are worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. It's important to understand the reality behind those headlines. While ordinary 2016 Harper's Ferry quarters are generally worth face value unless they possess exceptional condition or verified mint errors, the rarest authenticated examples with extraordinary characteristics can attract substantial collector interest. Market value ultimately depends on rarity, condition, authentication, and competitive bidding at auction. Some collectors speculate that if an absolutely unique 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter were discovered, combining an extraordinary mint error, nearly flawless preservation, impeccable authentication, and intense demand from elite collectors, it could theoretically become an auction sensation with a price approaching $888,000. Such an outcome would represent an exceptional, one-of-a-kind scenario rather than the expected value of a typical 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter. Extraordinary auction results occur because multiple determined buyers compete for something that may never appear again. That's exactly what makes coin collecting so captivating. Every valuable discovery begins the same way, with someone deciding to look more carefully than everyone else. Hidden wealth doesn't always arrive in gold bars or winning lottery tickets. Sometimes it hides in plain sight inside a simple quarter that millions of people overlook every day. So tonight, before you empty your pockets or cash in that coin jar, slow down. Examine every 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter carefully. Look for doubled lettering. Inspect the edges. Study the strike. Check for clipped planchets, off-center designs, broad strikes, die cracks, or anything that appears genuinely different from a normal coin. One careful inspection could reveal something truly extraordinary. Remember, knowledge creates opportunity. The people who discover remarkable coins aren't necessarily the luckiest. They're the most observant. Every day, valuable coins continue circulating because someone didn't recognize what they had. Don't let that someone be you. If this incredible story changed the way you look at your spare change, make sure you stay with us because our next episode uncovers another ultra-rare American coin that has stunned collectors with astonishing auction prices and hidden mint errors that most people have never even heard of. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple quarter and spending it on a cup of coffee, never realizing that the very same coin could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, but stories like this have happened in the world of rare coin collecting. Every day, millions of Americans unknowingly spend coins that collectors desperately hope to find. The biggest difference between an ordinary spender and a serious collector isn't luck, it's knowledge. Today, we're uncovering one of the most talked about modern quarters in American numismatics, the 2005 West Virginia State Quarter. Hidden among billions of ordinary coins are a handful of extraordinary examples with rare minting characteristics that have transformed them into legendary collector's treasures. Before another one disappears into circulation forever, stay with us because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you look at every quarter in your wallet. The 2005 West Virginia Quarter was released as part of the enormously successful 50-state quarters program. The design celebrates the mountain state with the famous New River Gorge Bridge stretching across the landscape, accompanied by the state's proud nickname, the Mountain State. Millions of these coins entered circulation, making them appear incredibly common. Most people glance at the design for only a second before tossing the coin into a cash register, parking meter, or tip jar. Yet experienced collectors know an important truth. Rarity is rarely about the design itself. Instead, extraordinary value often comes from unusual minting mistakes, exceptional preservation, and combinations of characteristics that only a microscopic number of coins possess. This is where the story becomes fascinating. Modern minting is an incredibly precise manufacturing process, but no production system is perfect. During high-speed coin production, tiny mechanical failures can create coins unlike any others. Most defective pieces are detected and destroyed before they ever leave the mint. However, every once in a while, a remarkable error slips through quality control and quietly enters circulation. Years later, collectors discover these forgotten survivors, and suddenly an ordinary-looking quarter becomes the centerpiece of major auctions. Here's something you should do right now. If you have a jar of spare change sitting somewhere in your house, pause for a moment after this video and check every 2005 West Virginia quarter you can find. It might sound unlikely, but countless valuable coins have been discovered in old piggy banks, dresser drawers, inherited collections, and forgotten coffee cans. The next life-changing discovery could easily be waiting in your own home. Point. One of the most desirable characteristics collectors search for is a dramatic struck-through error. This happens when foreign material accidentally gets between the coin die and the blank planchet during the striking process. Instead of receiving a complete design, parts of the coin appear missing, distorted, or unusually textured. Because every struck-through error is unique, collectors value these coins for their individuality. The more dramatic and visually obvious the error, the greater the collector interest tends to become. Another highly sought-after variety involves major off-center strikes. During production, if the blank planchet shifts even slightly before being struck, part of the design may be missing while another section remains fully detailed. Minor off-center strikes are collectible, but large, dramatic examples that still display the date are considered especially desirable. These pieces immediately stand out because they simply don't look like normal quarters. Collectors also pay close attention to broad strike errors. These occur when the retaining collar fails during the striking process. Without the collar holding the metal in place, the quarter spreads outward, creating an unusually wide coin with distorted edges. Since the rim plays an important role in defining the coin's appearance, broad strikes are instantly recognizable to experienced numismatists. Perhaps even more exciting are double-struck examples. Imagine a quarter receiving one strike and then failing to eject properly before being struck a second time. The result can be overlapping images, shifted lettering, duplicated design elements, and dramatic visual effects. These spectacular mint errors are among the most visually impressive coins modern collectors pursue. Then there are die cracks and retained die breaks. Over time, the tremendous pressure involved in striking millions of coins causes dies to develop cracks. As those cracks expand, raised lines begin appearing on the finished coins. In more advanced cases, pieces of the die actually break away, producing raised blobs or unusual design distortions. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large retained die breaks on attractive state quarters can command considerable collector attention. Some specialists also search for die clash evidence. A die clash happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them. This accidental collision leaves faint impressions from one die transferred onto the other. Future coins struck by those damaged dies may display mysterious extra lines or ghost-like design fragments where they should never exist. Identifying these subtle features requires magnification and experience, making them exciting discoveries for advanced collectors. Now here's a question that many viewers ask. If billions of West Virginia quarters were produced, how can any of them become rare? The answer is surprisingly simple. While the standard coin is common, extraordinary mint errors represent only an incredibly tiny fraction of total production. A dramatic error may exist in only a handful of confirmed examples, while another variety could be completely unique. Scarcity, not age alone, is what drives serious collector demand. Let's pause for another reality check. Think about how many quarters pass through your hands every year. Gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, parking lots. Most people never inspect them because they assume every quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. Collectors, however, understand that every coin deserves at least a quick glance. Sometimes fortunes hide behind ordinary appearances. Condition is another factor that can completely transform value. Professional grading services examine coins under strict standards, evaluating strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and originality. A heavily worn error coin may still attract attention, but an error preserved in exceptional mint state condition becomes significantly more desirable. Coins receiving elite grades are often separated by only microscopic imperfections, yet those tiny differences can dramatically influence collector demand. Many collectors also hope to discover examples struck on the wrong planchet. Occasionally, a blank intended for another denomination accidentally enters the quarter production line. The result is a coin with unusual weight, color, size, or metal composition. Wrong planchet errors are among the most celebrated modern mint mistakes because they combine multiple production failures into one remarkable coin. Authentication is essential, but confirmed examples often become headline pieces within major collections. Now let's talk about value, but with an important reminder. Headlines claiming that every 2005 West Virginia quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars are misleading. The overwhelming majority of these quarters remain worth only face value or a modest collector premium, depending on condition. However, authenticated coins featuring extraordinary, rare mint errors in exceptional grades have achieved astonishing prices in the collector market. In the most extraordinary circumstances, unique error combinations, elite preservation, intense bidding competition, and exceptional provenance have fueled discussions of values reaching as high as $939,000. These figures represent the absolute top end of the market for truly extraordinary specimens, not ordinary circulation coins. That distinction matters because experienced collectors never judge value by date alone. Instead, they carefully analyze every detail. Is the strike normal? Are there unusual doubling effects? Does the coin show evidence of a dramatic mint error? Has it remained in pristine condition for decades? Has it been authenticated by a respected grading service? These questions separate informed collectors from hopeful gamblers. Here's another attention reset. If you've been listening while your change jar sits across the room, this might be the perfect reminder to look through it after the video ends. Imagine finding a coin everyone else overlooked simply because you took 5 extra seconds to inspect it. That's exactly how many memorable discoveries begin. The modern coin market has changed dramatically during the past decade. Online auctions have connected collectors from around the world, creating unprecedented competition for elite modern rarities. Social media, educational videos, and expanding collector communities have introduced thousands of new enthusiasts to the hobby. As demand increases while genuinely rare mint errors remain fixed in supply, exceptional examples continue attracting tremendous attention whenever they appear for sale. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this story is that valuable discoveries still happen today. Families sorting inherited collections, bankroll hunters searching fresh boxes of quarters, and ordinary Americans checking everyday pocket change continue uncovering overlooked treasures. Most searches end with nothing unusual, but every extraordinary discovery reminds collectors why they never stop looking. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere tonight, someone may unknowingly spend an unusual quarter at a convenience store. Tomorrow, another collector might receive that same coin as change and recognize its importance immediately. Knowledge creates opportunity. The coin doesn't become valuable because someone wishes it were rare. It becomes valuable because informed collectors recognize characteristics that others ignore. Whether your goal is building a collection, learning American history through coinage, or simply enjoying the excitement of the hunt, the 2005 West Virginia quarter represents an unforgettable reminder that extraordinary stories can hide inside ordinary objects. Every scratch, every die crack, every striking anomaly tells part of the journey that transformed a simple 25-cent coin into something collectors may pursue for years. As you finish watching this video, take one final look at the quarters in your wallet before you spend them. The next coin you almost overlook could hold an incredible surprise. While most will remain everyday pocket change, it only takes one extraordinary discovery to completely change someone's collecting journey. Stay curious, keep learning, and always inspect your coins carefully because the rarest treasures are often hiding in plain sight. And don't go anywhere. In our next video, we're uncovering another ultra-rare American coin with a fascinating minting mystery that has stunned collectors and sparked intense bidding battles. You won't want to miss the next hidden treasure waiting to be revealed.